What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's get into it. Sony has decided to part ways with R. Kelly. Yes, that's right. Sony has decided to part ways with Robert Kelly. It is official. What's up? What's up, Mr. Braxton? I seen all y'all in here. Don't forget, don't forget to support the page, man. Click that link in the description box or go to the Cash app and support the page. But R. Kelly, once again, is up against it as Sony decides to part ways with him. Now, they didn't part ways with him. RCA Sony didn't part ways with him. During the case where they had videotape of him allegedly peeing on somebody that was underage. That wasn't enough for Sony to say, you know what? We might need to go all the way because this looks bad on us. That didn't look bad on them. Even the accusations of that didn't look bad on Sony enough. It's a partnership deal, Sony RCA. R. Kelly numbers, streaming numbers, have been high ever since the show Surviving R. Kelly came out. Oh, I hope Dream Hampton has an immaculate lawyer because this is a lawsuit beyond anything you can ever fathom. You can't even talk about tortious interference and damages, defaming, all of it. All of it. R. Kelly lawyers can't file enough paperwork. They're gonna run out of paper. Now, you just don't get released from your contract without having to pay out remaining and owing balances. Okay? So whatever was remaining, then they had to come to a negotiation before just being released. So both parties came to an agreement of the separation, which means it was negotiated, which means multi millions of dollars was paid to R. Kelly just to be released from the contract. This actually works out. This works out better for R. Kelly than anything. It's a partnership with Sony and RCA. It's a partnership thing, but RCA still owns Right. See, R. Kelly's been with Sony since the start of his contract under RCA. It's RCA is the smaller label under Sony. Is what they call the subsidiary. But it is what it is. Their biggest releases that they've had in the past 3 years has been R. Kelly's 12 Night of Christmas album and the Buffet album for RCA. Two of their biggest releases have been in the past 3 years R. Kelly records. As far as streaming services and everything, R. Kelly's album 12 Nights of Christmas and the Buffet are in their highest streaming totals for RCA. Those albums are 2015, 2016. That's not even counting the other records. On some of his songs, he does own publishing. R. Kelly has a lot of publishing. He writes for all the artists. When they first came out, all those pop acts, he wrote songs for like so many people. His writing credits are incredible. Uh, it was the same thing. Like when Kendrick Lamar was first out, when he had Mad City and all those, he had a terrible contract. But they did right by him and made him part owner of TDE because he has to pay Interscope, TDE, Aftermath get a piece before Kendrick Lamar was even getting anything. So he just redid his publishing deal with Warner Brothers, and well, I don't know if I know his contract expired January of last year, but that's why he's not in a rush to put out an album. That's why I did the video and inform y'all you guys that. That's right, Ray. Jive Records got bought out by Zambia, which got bought out by RCA, which is owned by Sony. So Sony owns it all. Are you or are you not a jive artist? I did a video on Jive Records. Y'all should check it out and how the Bay Area really made that record label pop. Y'all should check that out. Now, RCA, they didn't release R. Kelly. They just put R. Kelly on hold until this just happened now. Sony just decided to release him. Now, here's the thing. You got Lady Gaga apologized for doing a song with R. Kelly, but she knew about the allegations before. Chance the Rapper did a song. Sierra did a song with him, and now they all together talking about we're pulling our songs. Chance, you're from Chicago. You've heard every R. Kelly story that could ever be. The stuff that wasn't on the doggone Surviving R. Kelly that we all know. So how in the world you gonna act brand new now? Like this is new information. Lady Gaga may not have known, but I'm quite sure if she has anything of a publicist, they would have probably told her when she made the song. And Sierra definitely knew. Plus, don't nobody listen to Sierra songs anyway, so who cares what she pulls? She need to try to keep anything of any music of hers on the streaming site. Exactly. Everybody is out here doing this because it's trending. Clout chasing. You got celebrities clout chasing. You got LeBron James was out here clout chasing. You got all these people out here clout chasing. It's a whole new ball game out here, and everybody's celebrating. Well, we got to see where it's going to play out because listen, how many times we've seen this already? You know how many millions of dollars they had to pay R. Kelly for him to be released? You just don't cut nobody off their contract. Millions of dollars had to be paid for him to go away. So R. Kelly isn't hurting. And what Crook County just did today, Crook County just allowed a judge to come in there and acquit three police officers. If you seen One Crack News, you saw we did it live. They allowed three police officers who helped cover up the Laquan McDonald murder by the police officer who lied and tried to cover for their buddy. Knowing they were guilty, the judge sat there and acquitted all three police officers. And this is the same Cook County that's out here trying to push to get R. Kelly. Telling people, if y'all got anything on R. Kelly, come forward. So people can just make up allegations? Is that what you, because that's what you basically saying. If y'all want to make up something for R. Kelly, come forward. Because we're going to waste everybody's tax money to come after him. Why would they want to back you? That's why I don't live in Cook County. Why you think Jay silent in this? Jay don't want no parts of this. Right. They don't have to mute the priest. You don't see them doing that. They ain't finna boycott the Catholic Church. They ain't finna dig into all that information. The information was provided for them. Spotlight told you everything you needed to know. Didn't go after them. If R. Kelly go to jail, it will be a travesty because he'll be going to jail for something that they concocted, not for what he actually did. Like 25 years ago, we all knew R. Kelly was a piece of crap. But longer than that, we knew. Before the pen allegations, we knew. Exactly. So he's being tried in public opinion right now. They're using social media to try to execute him. But what they're doing is making him more infamous because people, his streaming numbers have been through the roof. And now all of these people who was on that show, the majority of them has been disproven to be liars. A lot of them were on there lying. All of that gets ignored and they just move forward. People just act like nothing and just keep moving forward. I mean, what do you mean, did he or did he not do it, Aaliyah? He married Aaliyah. That's legal. He legally married Aaliyah. Sparkle knew that her cousin was over with R. Kelly and she was underage. She knew that woman was over there, or that young girl was over there at the time. She knew. She knew her. She knew her cousin was fast. She knew her. They knew. Come on. They were married 10 miles from where I live right now, in Rosemont, Illinois. They were married. Money was paid. It was a big argument R. Kelly and his manager had in a Bennigan's restaurant over this doggone marriage over in Rosemont. You got to remember, the girl who was the first girl that we know that this happened to lived on my block. So we was privy to it back when 12 Play was out. We did say something. We all first nobody really believed it because she kept it to herself that she even knew R. Kelly. She kept it to herself that she was even hanging out with him. I was one of the only people she entrusted with that information. And we were kids. We were kids. And then her and R. Kelly was working on an album. R. Kelly was with Public Announcement at that time. And he was working on the 12 Play album when he first met her. Her mother worked at that building. And she said, R. Kelly and them, they record in the building. So she brought her daughter there, Tiffany, to meet R. Kelly and the group. And that's when R. Kelly gave her a number to call, and they from there they had contact. How old was she at the time? She was 14 at that time. 14 years of age. This is before Aaliyah. Before Aaliyah, anybody knew anything about Aaliyah. She lived 5 houses from me. It's about at least 4 or 5. She was working on songs with R. Kelly. That was the deception. R. Kelly used the fact that he was going to have her working on songs so her to come down to the studio. And her mother worked and be doing stuff late at night. So she was normally, like able to move around. And they sent the limo to pick her up. She told me R. Kelly was gonna send a car to pick her up. She's like, I know nobody gonna believe me, but he gonna come pick me up because we working on an album together and stuff. And I was just sitting there like, okay, all right. Because I really didn't believe it myself. I'm just like, all right, cool. Sure enough, the limo came and picked her up. Once I saw that limo pick her up, I said, oh God, she wasn't lying. She's 14. So we thinking, but still, we weren't thinking anything wrong with that. We're thinking, okay, she going to work on a record. And for a while, it wasn't like she hung out with all of us. We knew her; she stayed on the block, but we didn't really hang too much. And then she became more distant. Uh, Different things started to happen to her at that time, and it was because of all of this we found out these are the things that happened over like a 2 year span. Like she started failing school. It was just bad. A lot of bad things happened, and we just didn't know what was going on. So when we found out all about it, we were like, "Oh wow!" Because "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number" was her song. All those songs that they was working on together, he gave all those songs to Aaliyah. "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number" was the song that he was working on with her, with Tiffany. I know because I heard him. I heard the tape. She had her little tape. When she was talking about we finna record this song, it's like this, and it was "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number." So when they split up, and she went her way, he went and moved on to Aaliyah. And then all of these things came out. And R. Kelly paid her money to stay quiet. So she can't talk about it legally to anybody because she took money. She took the money. She would have to pay the money back to R. Kelly. But we got to know all of it. And I don't want to say anything because it's just the sickest stuff you could ever imagine. So I know that the man is sick, but still, you can't go do this without due process. You can't be like, well, he's sick Because if that's the case, when y'all acquit police officers who people feel in public opinion is guilty, then that means we can still go after them, right? If that's the case, what are the rules? So if you saying legal system doesn't mean anything and it's all about public appeal, then what are we really saying? Why would he sue Sony? He took they came to an agreement. He got millions of dollars out of it. He actually got the best thing he could ever get. They released him and paid him multi millions of dollars to get out of the contract. Yeah, it's a buyout. They had to buy out the remainder of his contract, which is multi millions of dollars. So they took it. They said, okay, that's perfect for R. Kelly. He's free. Do you realize now R. Kelly could put out his own music and keep 100% of the proceeds and all the profit from it. If R. Kelly put out something on streaming services all together, like all of them would try to ban R. Kelly now, like Spotify and all the rest of them. He could put out music on any streaming network he can that's going to allow him to do it. He could put it on SoundCloud. It will sell 200,000 easy. R. Kelly would stream 200,000 on SoundCloud with no promotion, and he would still make over $3 million. The leaving was mutual, meaning that they worked it out. It wasn't like R. Kelly wanted to leave, but when they wanted to, you can't cut the contract off when the man haven't done anything. He didn't violate his contract. He didn't do anything wrong. It was just bad press from RCA and Sony. They were being pressured to let him go, so you have to buy out the remainder of his contract. So they came to an agreement. So once they came to the agreement, the terms of how much is not going to be disclosed. But believe me, it's millions of dollars. Millions. They had to cut that check. And they were willing to cut that check. So all of this died out. So he can go sign with another major at any other time when all this has died down. Um, he has the ability now to go ahead and, yep, R. Kelly can make more money this way than anything else prior. Plus his publishing deal, the man has written so many songs, even though a lot of his publishing was taken from him during the trial. He lost a lot of publishing to I Believe I Could Fly, um, World's Greatest, all those songs that he had that were really charting. He lost the publishing to a lot of those because he needed that as collateral to pay for his trial. His trial was like 30, $40 million in lawyer fees. It has nothing to do with race. It has something to do that with R. Kelly did something that the people didn't like. Somebody didn't like something he did. And they decided to all go after R. Kelly. He tried to do something and he pissed off the wrong person. And once he pissed the wrong person off, all hell broke loose for R. Kelly. Yes, bro. His lawyers in that case, his lawyers got like 30 to 40 million dollars billable hours for the R. Kelly trial. Do you know the trial was delayed for 2.5 years? Those lawyers were paid billable hours. They got over like $30 million out of R. Kelly. R. Kelly spent over 30 to 40 million dollars on that trial. That trial lasted about 3 years, 2.5 years before it ever went to court. You know how much? You know how expensive that is. You know how many lawyers he had? He spent over 30 to 40 million dollars on that trial. I know that for fact. Right. The trial was on hold for 4 years. OJ trial was immediate. Do you know how quick the OJ trial was? That OJ trial was right away. That was like microwave popcorn. Two white people were killed. OJ was on trial in 5 minutes. Well, I know it was like 2.5 years, I thought, but 4 years. Okay, there you go. But I know he spent 30 to 40 million dollars on that trial, from payoffs to lawyers. See, y'all ain't counting everything that had to happen in that trial. People had to get a bag. Some people got bags. You know, he had to walk. You surprised the OJ trial ain't on Netflix? Man, you don't even need that. They got like 3 specials on it. The People versus OJ Simpson was great. Right. Look at that. Charged in 94, acquitted in 95. That's how quick. That's how quick the OJ Simpson trial was. And they put it on television. Be more 32. I can't even talk about the OJ Simpson trial. What happened there wasn't planned. It wasn't a planned attack. That was an accident. That was something going wrong. OJ wasn't there when it happened. Yeah, they were killed by accident. It it was a robbery that went wrong. It had nothing to do with the mob. Y'all should watch my video, The Truth Behind the Whole Thing. Believe me, everybody know what happened. Everybody knows what happened. It's a known fact. They try to make it look like his son did it. His son went over there and did it. And his son's crazy. His son's a chef. He got all these knives. I tell you, documentaries will make anybody look guilty. Whoever they tell you, I mean, if you watch that documentary, you'll be thinking his son is the one that did it. OJ's oldest son from the first marriage. He's crazy. Yeah, Ron Goldman, no, even though the Goldman's dad is a complete idiot, I mean, of course, he loves his son, but his son is a drug dealer. He's a drug runner. That's what all those waiters that worked there, the majority of them were drug runners. That's what they did for the rich people in there. That's where they got their drugs from. They made no money being waiters and servers at the restaurant. So peddling drugs was another way they made their money. They trying to say, oh, that was her boyfriend. She was dating the guy from the restaurant. If she was screwing around with that guy, please. He was coming to deliver drugs. That guy was over there to deliver some drugs. And what happened was an incident took place and things went the wrong way. A person who was not OJ Simpson went into the house to take an item, not rob the whole house, just take a particular item and bring it to OJ Simpson. What they didn't expect was for somebody to show up who wasn't supposed to show up, which was Ron Goldman. He shows up and runs into the guy. They get into a fight. Ron Goldman gets hit a couple times. She comes out, sees what's happening, and she was finna start screaming. She comes to the door, swap. Then he goes back and finish off Ron, who was crawling at the time, so he went back and finished him off. And then he ended up getting up out of there. OJ shows up to the scene and he just see the bodies and he can't believe it. And he's in a daze. He's got blood everywhere. He see all this stuff like on the steps and this, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is not what he wanted." Goes back to the car. He got prints and stuff everywhere, shoe prints, all kind of stupid stuff, because he just walked right into this and just goes home, drives home. Now, the reason why this was done was because a big fight took place after the family was getting back together. They went to the graduation party for one of the kids just earlier that day. Everything was going great. They were supposed to meet up at a restaurant and have dinner, where the son was the chef at that restaurant. And that's why they thought the son had something to do with it, because they canceled because OJ and Nicole got into a real big fight. And that's when OJ decided, look, I want such and such back. So person went over there allegedly to go get it. Why did OJ run? I mean, Why wouldn't you run? I mean, if I told somebody, hey man, I want you to go get my such and such from over there. I left my DVD over there. Yo, go over there in the house, break in the house, get my DVD and bring it back. I'll give you some money. He come back, I go over there, it's two bodies. I'm like, oh my God. I'm gonna get up out of there. You might as well run. Now, what they didn't account upon, and this was the work of God, it exposed the Los Angeles Police Department for all the brutality, all of the lies, and the racistness they had towards blacks. It exposed it and brought it to the light. Mark Furman, who they had on the case, complete racist, hated the fact that this black guy, rich with money, out here dating these white women, and now he's killed one in his mind. So he went and planted evidence. He planted some evidence on the fence. He planted it in the car. He took all the blood sample that they got from OJ and went back to the scene of the crime and started planting evidence. Clear as day. He tampered with the entire murder scene. They got there, they screwed up and contaminated the murder scene so bad, they forgot that there was two blood prints, two footprints of blood, two different shoe sizes. So that meant it was more than one person. But they screwed all that up to go after OJ because he was the name and they had never had such a high profile murder in that area, so they didn't know how to handle it. See, and the reason why they did another test on the blood is because there was no way they tried to say OJ had blood on his hands and he had it on the door and he had it on the console and the inside of the car. Well, it was impossible because where it was in the console, they took the whole Bronco apart. And how could blood get there and not be anywhere else on the car because the console that the blood was on was like near the bottom. And there's no way OJ could have got blood in there and put his hand down there. It would have been blood on the seat. It would have been blood somewhere else. There's no way a hand is gonna pass by all this stuff and get blood all the way on the bottom of the console. It's impossible unless it was put there after they removed the seats and everything else. Somebody went back and put blood there. So they did an additional test. Johnny Cochran did additional tests on the blood. And this is what got OJ acquitted. See, they want to make it all about the gloves and everything else. People don't look at the forensic facts. Exactly, Prague. It was lab chemicals. Whenever they take blood samples from you, they mix it up with a chemical in the lab. Therefore, it can heighten, so they're able to see certain things. So, of course, a detective wouldn't know that because he's stupid. Mark Furman took the file after they contained the samples of everything, so it's already mixed with the chemical from the lab. So when he's out there planting the information, planting the blood stains on the scene of the crime. All of those additional blood stains that has the mixture of the two bloods is because there's like, wait a minute, how is Ron Goldman's, Nicole's blood, OJ's blood, and then they have the chemical from the lab at the scene of the crime? That don't make any sense. That's impossible. So that's why he got acquitted, because there's reasonable doubt. You have to prove without a doubt that he's the killer. Now, when you have somebody who went and sabotaged an entire murder investigation by planting evidence, which Mark Furman did, you have just created reasonable doubt. That's something the Los Angeles Police Department would have to figure out, because the Mark Furman tapes, he brags about how he's beaten blacks, tortured them for no reason, and the whole Rampart scandal. All of this was being exposed on the world stage, to the where they had to change the police department. They had to get rid of the chief of police in Los Angeles. It had to change. You saw what happened with the Rodney King situation. You saw what happened with all of these things, and this is after that. And everybody's like, well, they let him go because they didn't want to have another Rodney King. No, they let him go because of the evidence was being tampered with. They had a dirty cop. You don't want another dirty cop situation in Los Angeles. It was a hotbed. Plus, they dirty cop who they put on the stand. Put him on the stand. That's what they did. They nobody else but them put him on the stand. And when you put him on the stand, he lied. Now, for the R. Kelly case, R. Kelly had a whole different circumstances. He was able to push this thing off for years. So years, you know how many years people were on retainer? You're retaining this lawyer for his services. You know how many millions of dollars this guy is spending just to keep this lawyer retained? OJ trial was 1 year and he spent millions. The Cochran tape, I mean the Mark Furman tapes, you guys have never heard the full tape. If you go and listen to the full Mark Furman tapes, they never allowed it to be played in court. He talked about Judge Ito's wife like a dog. He talked about, and Judge Ito is in the trial. He talked about his wife like a dog. He talked about how he beat and tortured a black man for no reason, just broke in his house, and they just beat him down like a dog. He's used the N word repeatedly, very disrespectful. Why don't they could reopen the case for the O.J. Simpson case. They could reopen the case for the Tupac murder, but ask the question, will they ever do it? I mean, not for OJ. I'm saying they can go and pursue and find new leads to try to solve the case. You could still, even when people deceased, you could still close a case. You can investigate it and they be like, well, the person we investigated, they're deceased. So I guess if they wanted to take it to trial, yeah, but they can complete the case. Oh, they had to solve the Biggie case. They solved that because Biggie's mom filed a wrongful death suit against the Los Angeles Police Department. I think he was doing an interview when Mark Furman was doing the interview, and he was just so bold. He didn't care. He was doing an interview for like a book. Mark Furman was crazy. They were above reproach, above the law. Well, it was talked about doing the best of both worlds with Tupac. I doubt it would have happened, but you never know. A lot of things would have changed if Tupac and Big was still around. It's just certain. It's unfortunate, but certain people's spirits only here for a certain period of time. Not everybody was meant to be old. And sometimes the karma you build up in life comes back on you. And sometimes things that happen to you, you haven't done anything. It's somebody else's karma. They're being punished by losing you. I mean, people got different words for it. I just say karma so that people understand what I'm talking about. Wow, Tiffany, they're gonna get probably charge them for jaywalking. Yeah, if they go after OJ for that case, yes. But I'm saying that they could investigate the case and try to pursue the case to find out who actually did the murder. Juice is not the one who did the murder. And I'm quite sure they know that. But there's a reason why they don't do that. Because when you open up the case, you open up Mark Furman, you open up everything. And when you got a corrupt cop involved, no. That's why they never opened the Tupac investigation. And nothing to do with nobody being dead. You don't want to bring up anything that has something to do with corrupt cops. The real killer is already locked up. So what are you talking about? He's in jail for a whole nother murder and something else. Yeah, so he's already locked up. So it ain't like he's out there harming anybody else. Well, it depends on who you're talking about. I don't know, Quentin B. All right, we got one more minute. Don't forget, you guys can hit me up, make donations on the Cash App. I went and got the Cash App, or you can click the link in the description box to make a donation to the page. Here's the Cash App, Carcino for life, Carcino. Boom. I don't know if Jay did or not, but the rumors are out there.